to tell you about the time when I focused on me for, I would say probably realistically, maybe 60 days. So I've always loved writing and I wanted to be a writer. And I used to write books when I was in school. Yeah, I know. During class when you're supposed to be listening to the teacher, and here I am with my notebook drawing pictures or writing stories. And y'all, I don't even know what happened to my stories. I swear I had 2 that were going to be bestsellers, though. I'm telling you, they were. But a couple years ago, actually probably maybe like 4 years ago now, I decided I was going to write a book. I think I was maybe out of work or something. My schedule had I think I was out of work at the time. And so, well, out of work meaning I didn't have a full-time, you need to report here at this day and time type of job. I've always had a job. It was just like I own my own businesses. So when I say out of work, I mean I'm not working for someone else. But so I had this extra time. I was like, you know what? I want to write a book on relationships. I knew a bunch of people that were having like relationship issues or issues with themselves. I wanted to better myself as well. I wasn't perfect. I'm still not perfect. And so I decided, I was like, I'm going to write a book. And I started to write a book, but then I decided, you know what? No, I'm going to write a journal. And the reason that I decided to write a journal instead was my mom told me that she was using this like daily journal for her Bible studies, and she would read some passages from the Bible and then she'd write in it. And I thought, that might be, maybe baby steps, right? So a journal kind of forces us to take baby steps. So anyways, I decided to do it, to make a journal instead. And so I started writing this journal. And as I was writing it, I had to do research because I wanted to make sure that I was putting, valuable stuff in there. And so I was doing all this research about being a better person for my journal, but it was also helping me to be a better person as well. And I was learning as well and working on my self-development as well. And I didn't really realize it at the time, but I did. I went and I created, I think the first one I wrote was just, it was kind of like a generic journal for anyone. Probably more geared towards adults because I am an adult. But then I decided, you know what? I really like this journal. Let me make one geared towards kids because I have kids and maybe this can help them. So then I went and I created one that was more geared towards like teens. And then there's also one that focuses more on like kids. And those are kind of like, to kind of like more like younger goal type things, not really like relationships, right? Like I don't want my kids learning about relationships if they're not old enough to date, right? So I was like, even though with social media these days, it might be a good thing to start talking to them a little early about relationships, but that's a whole nother video. So after creating the like adult, teen, and kids journal, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make one for couples. And so then I did all this research and created one for couples. And then I condensed that into a smaller version instead of, because all of the journals were 365-day journals. So it was like a year long. Like this is a journal for you to use for this entire year, period, to better yourself, to better your relationship. And so then I decided to make a condensed version, which is much smaller, but I actually have one here with me right now. So this is one of the relationship ones. This is 100 days to a more fulfilling relationship. I am not trying to get you to buy these. If you did, however, they're not for profit. So I'm selling them at cost on Amazon. But I'm telling you this because while I was writing these journals and I would say it had to have at least taken me 60 days. A lot changed in me because I was dedicated to writing this journal, and this journal that I was writing, this subject that I was writing about, was about self-improvement, self-development, obtaining your goals, fixing your relationships, rekindling your flame. It was helping me to do that as well. Now, I will say it can kind of go both ways. So, you know, you need to make sure that when you're working on yourself, I know some people want to keep that like to themselves. They're like, oh, but I'm working on myself. I don't want my spouse to know, or I don't want my friends to know. And you don't have to like tell the world. You don't have to say, hey, by the way, guess what? I'm doing this 30-day challenge to challenge myself to be a better person. And I'm reading this book by this person, and I'm doing these things. You don't have to like publicize all that, okay? You really don't. But you're gonna change. And so like, for example, let me just open up the page and I'll just give you an example. So for example, in this book, there's one page that says, be more affectionate. Try to hug and kiss your spouse at least 3 times a day. Some of us may do that already, right? Some of us may not. Some of us may be like super busy people and we want to, or maybe we're not affectionate, or maybe the spouse isn't affectionate. So let's say that we're not affectionate, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I just start hugging and kissing my spouse. Isn't he or she going to be like, what's going on here? This is kind of strange. What, you know, what's going on? This is, you know, or let's see, leave your spouse a sweet note of encouragement. I think that's a good one. Try not to disagree with your spouse. You know, if it's not, you know, if it's something that you can not disagree to, okay? Like there's some things where you're just like, no thanks, we're not doing that. Let's say they want to make a big purchase and you're like, no, I am not getting in. I'm not jumping on that train. We're not making a big purchase. But then there are other things where maybe it's not that big of a deal, and you know, you can just go with it, right? Just try not to disagree. Try not to make things more difficult, because we have things that are difficult already in our lives. Kind of like the show, what is it, Yes Man, with like Jim Carrey, and he has to say yes to everything. Well, sometimes when someone asks you to do something or tells you to do something, yes is not a good answer, right? Sometimes we have to say no. But the point of that is to try to reduce the friction in the relationship. Okay, because we have a lot of things going on. You do, your spouse does, if it's friends or kids, whoever, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, everyone has something going on, all the way down to your little one, right? Like your little one might have friend trouble. So-and-so got mad and wouldn't share her dolls, you know? So she's trying to reduce the friction in the relationships. Now, let's say you all of a sudden, let's say there's a lot of friction in your relationship, and that's why you are wanting to work on your relationship. And now all of a sudden, out of the blue, you are agreeing with everything and acting, you know, like it's okay. You're like, you know what? You're thinking in your head, I'm not going to argue about this. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to let it go. Well, your spouse, if they don't know that you're trying to work on these things, could possibly think, they don't care anymore. And that's not the case at all, right? You care so much that you're working on yourself to save your relationship. So in some ways, I feel like it is good for us to share, at least with those who are closest to us, to share with them and let them know, hey, look, I am trying to be a better person, and so I'm doing this challenge, or I'm trying to be a better person, and so I started reading this book, or I started watching this podcast, whatever it is that you're doing, and I just wanted to let you know. It's really neat. Maybe share with them something that you heard or learned or read, right? Like maybe you could say, it's really neat, because when I was reading this book earlier, they mentioned trying not to disagree with your spouse today. So, honey, if you could please bear with me on that one. I'm going to try not to disagree with you today so that we can have a good day, because I want to help reduce the friction in our relationship, or whatever the case may be. So sometimes it's good if you are working on yourself to let others know that you're working on yourself. So those books took me about probably 60 days to write, because once I wrote the first one, I had a layout and I had already done so much research that I didn't have to do as much to write the other ones. But in that time frame, it really helped me. It really changed me, honestly, as a person, because I was like highly focused, and that's all I did like all day. Because like I said, I didn't have a full 9-to-5 job. So I spent most of the day researching and writing, and just, it was like full on like better yourself. And I mean, I was determined. So I was working on the weekends too. But, it's good to do these things. I think, honestly, I probably saw changes within like the first 2 weeks. Because once I had done the research and I was, watching these videos and reading these books, and I was putting this stuff, I was experimenting with it to see, does this really work? And so I was, using it on my husband. I was using it on my kids. I was, for example, trying to, leaving little love notes, little sticky notes. Put a little sticky note on the bathroom mirror, or I got, those markers, expo markers. Write a little message with the expo marker. Or I even, I wrote on the showers, when like the bathroom, when it heats up and if everything fogs up, I would write like, I love you to my husband on the bathroom shower. But I was like testing all this stuff out, and I was also seeing results at the same time, and, results in myself and results with the people around me. Because when you work on bettering yourself, it should better your relationships with everyone around you, but it also may give them inspiration to also better themselves. And not saying that the people around you are bad people. Obviously they're not, because you're around them and you love them. But just, like they might see you focusing on yourself. Let's see. I'm trying to think of as an example. I don't know. Let's say, can't think. Let's say you're the jealous type. Okay, let's say that anytime you go out with your spouse, you get jealous of like another person of the same sex talking to them, or them talking to them, or whatever the case may be. And so maybe one of the things that you are trying to work on is not being jealous. So what you do is you tell yourself before you go out, this person is with me because they want to be with me, and I'm going to try not to get jealous. I guess that's what you say. And then when you go out, if you start to feel like you are getting jealous, then you have to immediately try to like push that emotion out the door. Just make it go away. And I know that's hard to do, especially when you're, new to it. Let's say you're used to, let's say you're highly a jealous person, then it's going to be even harder for you. But you have to realize those things, and then you have to like acknowledge that that's what's going on, and then you have to try to change it, shut it down, get rid of it. This person is with you because they want to be with you. And I will tell you right now, if you are a jealous person and you're with someone, that person is with you because they love you, but they can only take so much. Like, you're getting jealous and you're nagging at them about these things that are really not them, it's really your insecurities, is going to push them away. And you will end up, more than likely, running them off eventually with time. Could be a year from then, could be 5 years from then, 20 years from, I don't know. But eventually they are going to say, oh my God, I love you, but I do not love you enough to keep putting up with this. Peace out, like, bye. So, I mean, if that is what you are, you really do need to work on that. And there's a lot of ways to work on that. I mean, there's books and videos and all kinds of things. That's just one example. But when you are working on yourself, if you can, you might want to let other people know, just so they don't, like, you know, so that they can kind of be like a cheerleader for you. And like I said, I mean, fully focusing on myself for 60 days, writing my books and my journals, I saw a huge difference. Let's see, I was trying to be more understanding. I tried to speak less and listen more. And that really helped my relationships. I just saw a really, really big difference. Gosh, this was like 4 years ago, so I'm trying to remember all the things. But I challenge you, okay? I challenge you. Just give it a week. Just 1 week. Just 1 week. Maybe at some point during the day, some people are early people, some people are late people. So early morning, late in the evening, during your lunch break, whatever, you know, the case may be. But I would say at least 10 minutes. Spend at least 10 minutes of the day trying to work on you and see what happens. Because when you work on you, you unintentionally work on the ones around you as well. And even better, why not try to leave them a little sticky note on the fridge? Or if you have kids, put a little note in their lunchbox every once in a while, like, hey sweetheart, I hope you're having a great day at school. I know I have reminders on my calendar for birthdays, which I know the birthdays, so I don't even need the reminders anymore. But I have a little reminder on my calendar, stick a happy birthday note in so-and-so's lunchbox tomorrow. Or, you know, if there's something like scheduling time to spend together. If you're a busy person, you have a lot going on, then you might need to like schedule time on your calendar. So you can even like schedule time on your calendar. Another thing that I actually started doing, this is probably not even in this subject line, but kind of is, being a busy person and having a lot going on, a lot of times we like kind of, you know, you're supposed to work 8 hours a day, but you end up working 9. Well, what did you just give up to work that extra 9th hour? You gave up something that you were going to do today. What was it? Was it your gym time? Was it your family time? Is it going to cause you to cut your dinner in half? Is it going to cause you to take a quick shower instead of a long bath? Is it going to cause you to go to bed earlier than usual or the same time and you're going to lose sleep? So just kind of like knowing those things as well, knowing that when we put more time into one thing, it's taking time away from something else, and making sure that we have time scheduled for those people who truly matter to us. So I will put like blocks on my calendar, like one-on-one time with this person, one-on-one time with that person. And the reason that I do one-on-one time is because it's more intimate, right? It's like when you're all together in the same room, it's great. It really is. Like we do family game nights and stuff like that. But having that one-on-one time, that's when you can really talk. You can really, you know, like get to know each other, I guess. What I mean by that is like I have teenagers and they don't want to talk about their boyfriend and girlfriend problems in front of their little sister who's 8. Or even sometimes they don't want to talk about them with, you know, each other. They don't want each other to know. So, and sometimes they don't want to hear about the 8-year-old's problem with her best friend who's not her best friend today and they're going to be best friends again tomorrow. So having that one-on-one time can really just help you to, you know, have that, you know, better, more intimate communication with each other, and knowing that, you are there for them. And, you know, it's not just a, hey, let's get together for family game night. So, yeah. Anyways, I challenge you for at least 10 days to work on yourself and work on your relationships and see what happens. You can Google it, ways to improve my relationship, ways to improve myself. Just find 10 things. Just find 10 things, 10 suggestions that make sense to you, that sound like something that you would do, and do it for 10 days. 10 days, guys.